Welcome back to Go With Us, and this is Halloween Part 1. One of the most exciting events of every year, every October, we have Halloween coming to Pokémon Go, and this year is no different. We have new Pokémon Go debuts, we have all of the details lined up for you guys, and we're gonna unpack it all together. And right at the end, we have a few strategies to help you guys really maximize on this event, because Halloween is definitely not something you wanna miss. So let's kick off with dates now. Halloween Part 1 will be starting this Thursday, October 19th at 10 a.m., running for 7 days all the way until October 26th, also at 10 a.m. local time. This is actually when Halloween Part 2 will start and will commence right up until the 31st of October. And again, Go With Us is going to be unpacking everything for you guys, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, go with us, and we'll be sure to be right next to you through all these details. Just to kick off with two features coming to Pokemon Go that they actually introduced last year was, firstly, we're going to have that Halloween decor coming back on the map all over the GPS. I have to say, when I first turned on the game and saw this last year, it looked incredible, maybe the best decor they've ever introduced into the game. And also the other feature they're going to be adding is that the Lavender Town music, all the way back from the Kanto region, that ghost type town, well, I think it's just a place where you can encounter ghost types, and I think it's like for the lost souls of the Pokemon world, especially in that region. But it looks like that is going to be playing at nighttime during our games, which is going to be fantastic. We're looking forward to listening to that music because the artwork there is just awesome and the sound really comes alive, especially at night. There's going to be a total of 4 event bonuses, and we're going to run through them really quickly. The first bonus is that you're going to be able to get additional candy from throwing nice, great, or excellent throws, which is awesome. The second bonus is that we're going to be able to also get extra XL candy throwing nice, great, or excellent throws. Bonus number 3 is that trainers level 31 and up are going to receive additional XL candy from hatching eggs. And bonus number 4 is that it's going to be 2 times hatch candy for all the Pokemon that you hatch during this event. The wild spawns during this event surround Ghost, Dark, and Poison types. We have Ekans, Zubat, Alolan Meowth, Ghastly, Haunter, Spinarak, Mischievous, Poochyena, Shuppet, Drifloon, Litwick, Phantump, and Sandygast. This is also a great time to mention that Phantump will be making its shiny Pokemon Go debut for the very first time in the game. To be honest, that shiny is just beautiful. It's one of the best in all of Pokemon in our humble opinion, and especially when you evolve it into that Trevenant, the design work in that Pokemon is fantastic. It really represents that ghost typing as well, especially in that shiny form. In eggs, the focus will definitely be on 7-kilometer eggs, and it's a really small hatch pool with some great hatches in here. We have Munchlax, Riolu, and we also have Galarian Yamask in there. It's also a good time to mention that all of these can be shiny, but the fact that it's such a small spawn pool with some great hatches in here, guys, that 2 times hatch candy for these Pokemon is a great opportunity to hatch these, and all of these Pokemon have some potential in the game, really good ones to hatch. I like how it's so small. In field research, we're going to be able to encounter Phantump, that 100% IV is 481 CP, and we're also going to be able to encounter Mischievous. That 100% IV is going to be 825 CP, and it looks like we're also going to get some tasks that surround getting some Pokeballs back and some other items as well. Moving on to raids now. In 1-star raids, we have Mischievous, Shuppet, and Drifloon. In 3-star raids, we have Gengar, Sandygast, and finally we come across our Pokemon Go debut, our new Pokemon, Greavard. Greavard is a ghost type originally coming from the Paldea region. Greavard evolves into Houndstone using 50 candy, and the interesting thing about Houndstone is that it was actually considered iconic for competitive play in the main series games. Unfortunately though, that hasn't really translated into Pokemon Go, as it's just purely a ghost type and the move coverage it has isn't that great. However, in the future, it may get its signature move, which is actually called Last Respects. I believe this is also a ghost type move, and who knows, it could really peak the performance of this Pokemon in the future. In 5-star raids, we have Guzzlord until the 20th, and we also have Darkrai in there. Remember that Darkrai is one of the best dark type attackers in the game, and it's a fantastic shiny, definitely a Pokemon worth raiding and going after. Hopefully you get that hundo. And finally, in Mega Raids, we have Mega Gengar in there all the way until the 20th, and then the swap over is going to happen where Mega Banette will then take its place, running all the way, I think, through the Halloween event. Okay, what we're going to do now is talk about the timed research, because as time is going on, Pokemon Go and Niantic is updating the timed research that's going to be happening throughout the Halloween month. I guess, of October, but also through the event that's happening in the last kind of 10 days of October. And it's starting to actually get really confusing. So what we're gonna do now for everyone is that we're gonna break it up. Effectively, we have access to 4 different timed research, but we're gonna split it up. We have 2 paid timed researches, and we're gonna have 2 free timed researches. But what we're gonna do now is start with a paid timed research. The first paid timed research to start on is definitely gonna be that Ticket of Treats event. I think it opened up on the 5th with Guzzlord coming back to Wormhole raids. The second page was then unlocked on the 12th with the start of the Harvest Festival, and the third page is finally gonna start on the 19th when this Halloween Part 1 begins. The rewards from this page 3 will grant us 2 incubators, additional encounters with Phantump, some XP, and some Stardust as well. Remember that that Ticket of Treats event is gonna cost you $5. Let's talk about the second page timed research now. The rewards from this $5 ticket are gonna be encounters with some Dark-type Pokemon like Alolan Meowth, and also some more Ghost-type Pokemon such as Phantump. But definitely the main reward, in my opinion, from this ticket is definitely gonna be the new Halloween-themed avatar pose, which is gonna be Ghost. This pose looks awesome, and it's also gonna be available in the item shop going forward. Moving on to the free timed research now. Remember that there's gonna be 2 sets of free timed research, and they're both gonna expire on October 31st, so make sure to complete these. The first set of this free timed research is gonna be surrounding catching ghost types, and it's gonna reward us encounters with Greavard, that new debut Pokemon, and we're also gonna be able to get some Stardust and some other things too. The second free timed research will interestingly focus on Spiritomb and its 108 spirits, and this is gonna last throughout both parts of the Halloween event, so bear in mind that these 2 free timed research tickets, again, they're free, are both gonna expire on October 31st, so make sure to complete that before that time frame. And the rewards from this particular timed research is gonna be some encounters with Spiritomb, which is awesome. That shiny is out of this world. And we're also gonna be able to get more Stardust too from these rewards. There's gonna be new Halloween themed event stickers gonna be made available to us. And also in the Avatar store, we're gonna get 5 new Avatar items. We're gonna get the Yamask mask, the Coffagrigus costume, the Coffagrigus head, the Phantump head, and the Greavard wig too. Some of these look super cool and super unique because they've just come to Pokemon Go literally for the first time. We also have Pokéstop showcases coming back to Pokemon Go. Again, this feature has been pumping out throughout the world. It's becoming super popular because of all of those premium item rewards, especially when the showcases get really big. We're gonna have Shuppet in there. We're also gonna be able to showcase Banette. And finally, we're gonna be able to enter Greavard into Pokéstop showcases too. We spoke about strategies at the beginning of this video, and this event is such a good time to really think ahead, play the tape forward, and really utilize the tools that you have to maximize on this event, because it's a great time to focus on certain things to really maximize your gameplay and pull as much quality out of this event as you possibly can. Strategy number 1 is purely gonna surround candy gains. Remember that this event is rewarding nice, great, and excellent throws with additional candy, but also XL candy, which is becoming a seriously difficult commodity to get in Pokemon Go, and a lot of people for a long time have been complaining about this, but personally, we actually now disagree with this. Ever since Pokemon Go and Niantic introduced Mega Pokemon into the game and being able to Mega Level 3 these Pokemon, it has changed the landscape completely for attaining XL Candy for specific Pokemon in Pokemon Go. And if you line up everything correctly, it's such a great opportunity, especially during this event, to nail those Ghost types, because Ghost types don't really spawn that regularly as well. It's such a good time to focus on these. The best megas you can use for this event are definitely going to be Mega Banette, Mega Sableye, but undoubtedly the best one to use is 100% going to be that Mega Gengar, as it pretty much hits almost every single type in the spawn pool. And again, just to get those Ghost XL candies, they're so rare, and they never ever spawn unless you play a lot of time at night, and even then, out of season, you just don't really see that many Ghost types. So guys, this is a great time. Reel in as much XL candy as you possibly can. I would say that Gengar itself, if you manage to get a hundo, or if you even have a hundo, to get that Mega Gengar at level 51, best buddied, maxed out with all that XL candy, it's such a good Pokemon to use, guys. So please focus on using those Mega level 3 Pokemon and getting that candy and XL candy, all for those Ghost types. Strategy number 2 is definitely going to be on which Pokemon to go after. The first Pokemon that we definitely highlight to go after is going to be Zubat. Zubat evolves into Golbat and finally into Crobat. but Golbat is a fantastic Pokemon to use in the Great League. I think it's got a current ranking of 68, and its Shadow form is ranked even better with a current rank of 42, and although this Pokemon is really glassy to use, if you use it correctly, it is very, very annoying to play against because of that wing attack and poison fang combination. Every time you use it or it gets used on you, your Pokemon's defense drops or your opposition Pokemon's defense drops. It is a really, really effective Pokemon to use. And again, speaking of that Crobat as well, Crobat has some really good play in the Ultra League and in certain cups. And because again of that poison typing, it can also be a really annoying Pokemon to fight against. The second set of Pokemon to definitely go after is definitely going to be that Ghastly and that Haunter. It's great that both of these are going to be spawning in the wild. Just to quickly touch on Haunter, Haunter has some really good play actually in the Great League and some limited meta cups where it actually really shines, especially when you can't evolve it into that Gengar for certain competitions. But that Gengar is a really, really good Pokemon to use in the Ultra League. It's got a current ranking of 88, and that all Ghost type combination with all those moves is super effective because it kind of hits everything neutrally and not much actually hits it for super effective damage, which is why it's ranked actually pretty well. But probably the main reason to go after Ghastly and Haunter is because it finally evolves into Gengar, and that Mega Gengar is probably, in fact it is an SSS tier Pokemon to go after. It is so good, it has so much utility in the game, and it is currently the best Ghost type attacker in the game, and it has the highest DPS as a Poison type attacker in the game as well. This Pokemon is a must get, and you when you max that thing and best buddy that thing to level 51, certainly a Pokemon to go after. The next Pokemon we're going to highlight is actually going to be Spinarak. Not a hell of a lot of information here. Spinarak actually evolves into Ariados, but unfortunately Ariados isn't the greatest raid attacker, but it's actually surprisingly, in our opinion, very, very underrated as well in the Go Battle League. It doesn't actually have the best ranking right now. I think it might be ranked in like the 200s, but in certain cups, especially the Love Cup, this thing is very, very frustrating to play against, and it's a really good spice pick to use every now and then, so definitely go after that Spinarak if you're into battling. Our next one to go after is going to be Alolan Meowth. Alolan Meowth has a fantastic shiny, but the main reason to actually go after this Pokemon is that it's because it's a permanently boosted Stardust Pokemon, but what people don't know is that the regular Meowth actually grants 500 Stardust per catch, but the Alolan Meowth grants 750 Stardust per catch, which is quite a significant difference. So if you manage to maybe get that foggy weather or the right weather where it's weather boosted and you're seeing a lot of them around, maybe it's worth throwing on a star piece. This is a great Pokemon for those Stardust rewards. Moving on to Shuppet. The reason why we say go after Shuppet is that Shuppet evolves into Banette, which finally goes into Mega Banette, and Banette doesn't necessarily have the biggest play in Pokemon Go, but Mega Banette is currently the second best Ghost type attacker in the game, behind that Gengar that we mentioned earlier, so definitely one to go after too if you want that hundo. Drifloon is another one to go after. It has a fantastic shiny as well, and although it's not the best kind of raid attacker at all, and the Go Battle League is also really, really annoying to play against, especially if you get in a bad situation or if you find yourself in a good situation. It's such a useful Pokemon to have. Currently in the Great League, it has a ranking of 218, and I think its Shadow form is literally one place below in that rank of 219, but these rankings will obviously go up in certain cup metas because Drifblim is definitely a Pokemon to use and also quite underrated in our opinion. Our next Pokemon that we're going to move on to is Litwick. Litwick evolves into Lampent and finally into Chandelier, and Chandelier is a decent fire type attacker, but it shines much better as a ghost type attacker, and I think it's currently in the top 5 ghost type attackers in the game, especially as a budget counter. So it's a great one to go after and definitely useful in the game to have a team of these in the back, especially with that Hex and Shadow Ball combination. A great Pokemon to have a team of in the back waiting for those certain raids. Phantump is going to be our last pick. Obviously because of that shiny Phantump is beautiful as we touched on earlier, but remember that Phantump evolves into Trevenant, and Trevenant is really, really good in the Go Battle League. I think it currently has a ranking of 70 in the Great League, and then the Ultra League is ranked even better at 57, but you're gonna need XL Candy to use that Pokemon in the Ultra League. Our last strategy is definitely gonna be to catch as many ghost types as you possibly can for 2 reasons. The first reason is that in the past, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've had a lot of special research that requires us to catch ghost type Pokemon, and if you're out of a ghost type event, Like Haloween, for example, it's very difficult to catch those ghost types because ghost types just never ever spawn. So it's a great time to go after that. And the second reason is to catch as many ghost types as possible because you need to catch 2,500 ghost types for that Hex Maniac ghost type platinum medal. You need 35 platinum medals to get from 48 to 49 in Pokemon Go. So it's a great time to go after this ghost type medal because ghost types are going to be spawning literally throughout the next 2 weeks in Pokemon Go. So there's literally no better time to catch these ghost types. Remember that part 2 of Halloween is going to be starting on the 26th of October. Go With Us is also going to be doing a little breakdown of Mega Banette, and we're also going to be touching on the Incense Day, which is happening, I believe, on the 21st. So guys, there's a lot to unpack. We're super excited to be doing this with you guys. Thanks so much for all the support over the recent weeks. So remember, go with us, and we'll make sure to see you on the next one, baby.